Welcome to another video tour by Jerusalem Experience. Today we are visiting the monastery of John the Baptist in the wilderness, where according to crusader tradition, John the Baptist studied the scriptures out in the wilderness. Luke tells us that John grew and became strong in spirit and lived in the desert. As you can see, we are not in the desert. On the contrary, people will say that desert can also mean a wild and deserted area where you can connect to yourself and to God. Throughout this video, you will see that this area fits the definition of wilderness and thus can fit John's description. The monastery is built next to a spring on a wooded slope just south of Jerusalem and not far from Ein Karem, where John was born. Here is where the spring is spouting. With this block of rock, the friars can control the water flowing to the lower level of the spring near the Grotto that we shall soon visit. I took this video on June 23rd, a day before we celebrate the Nativity of John in Ein Karem. This evening we conduct Vespers to commemorate John the Baptist as grown by the Spirit here in the wilderness. The ceremony will start at this chapel and continue outside near the Grotto. These windows are facing west, and now you can see them from outside. As the ceremony started inside the chapel, my friends and I will visit the lower level grotto. Here is a beautiful pool with fountain water from the spring. Here to the right is the entrance to the grotto with the script from Luke. In this grotto, John had lived until he started preaching. Here in this niche you can light a candle. Above it is our Lord Jesus on the cross. On this wall you can see a fresco of Elizabeth hiding baby John after Herod ordered to kill all babies. Here is the hand of God directing Elizabeth where to hide John. Through this window you can look into the wilderness. Can you imagine living inside this grotto? Here, just outside the grotto, there is a place where one can purify oneself by the spring water. We are now back at the upper level. Down below are two graves of friars who dedicated their lives to bridge Christianity and Judaism. This place is so spiritual, unbelievable. Even this bee sipping nectar from this flower. Again, a view of the road that today passes by the monastery. The ceremony inside the chapel is still ongoing, and here is some footage from inside the chapel. Now the bells are ringing, and soon the ceremony shall exit the chapel. We now see the friars exiting the chapel carrying the cross and holding candles. The friars are now gathering at the lower level near the grotto. Since it is too crowded down there, we are standing at the upper level. People are gathering and watching the ceremony from above.
Verbum Domini. Laus tibi Christe.
People are taking photos, reading the scripts, praying and meditating during this beautiful ceremony. On our way out, we saw a friar sitting with a parrot perched on his shoulder. But before we leave, we visit the chapel of St. Elizabeth. According to tradition, the ashes of Elizabeth are buried inside this church. See what a fantastic view it is from outside the chapel of St. Elizabeth.